8:07, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What to do with all those Palestinians? So at the end of the last hour, I was telling you, and I got a fascinating story that I'm going to get to very quickly regarding Marco Rubio. And as a matter of fact, have you heard this story, Joan Jones, about Marco Rubio?
Not sure.
Stay close, Joan.
Okay, I am close. I'm leaning in.
We're gonna talk about that here in a little bit. Marco Rubio, amazing story. But first, what in the world do we do with all the Palestinians? Now, we had this conversation about Donald Trump and about how Benjamin Netanyahu told Donald Trump last night, I played you the audio, that he is going to nominate Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. And so that's a great moment between Netanyahu and President Trump. And so then this led to a discussion in front of reporters about his foreign policy and about all of the things that he wants to do, which ultimately the thing that Donald Trump wants to do is he wants to end all the wars, which, of course, is ironic because you had all of these knuckle draggers on the left that were saying that Donald Trump was going to be the guy that starts all the wars. So here we are, and he's trying to find a way to get that ceasefire between Hamas and Israel in Gaza. But there also has to be a decision made about once that ceasefire happens, then how do you rebuild Gaza and what do you build it into? That is the big question. Everybody knows that Donald Trump thought about trying to come up with some sort of a resort-style development for the Gaza Strip. The question is what to do with all of those Palestinians. This is what the president had to say.
I think President Trump had a brilliant vision. It's called free choice. You know, if people want to stay, they can stay. But if they want to leave, they should be able to leave. It shouldn't be a prison. It should be an open place and give people a free choice. We're working with the United States very closely about finding countries that will seek to realize what they always say, that they want to give the Palestinians a better future. And those who, and I think we're getting close to finding several countries, and I think this will give, again, the freedom to choose. Palestinians should have it. And I hope that we can secure it close by.
And we've had great cooperation from surrounding Israel, surrounding countries, great cooperation from every single one of them. So something good will happen.
So we'll see what happens with the fine people of Gaza. Remember that Trump spoke of that rebuilt Gaza Strip making into like a tourist type of attraction or region, as opposed to the massive pile of rubble that it currently is and more than likely will continue to be. But I've done interviews with folks that are a lot smarter than me to talk about the Palestinians and why, even though the president, and you know what, he's always an optimist. I love that President Trump is an optimist. But honestly, there have been a lot of these nations in the Middle East that want nothing to do with none of these Palestinians, man. You know why? Because as Stephen Bucci once said from the Heritage Foundation, Palestinians, they're awful house guests. Because they come into these other nations and they try to take over. And I mentioned in the 5 o'clock hour when we spoke about this previously, look what they do here. Look what a lot of these Palestinians do when they come here. They're protesting in the streets and, you know, death to America, death to Israel. I mean, all of those things. So I understand why those nations don't want them. The Biden administration at one point spoke about bringing some of these Palestinians here. I don't know where we are with that, but remember the whole point of this. The whole point of this is that Donald Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize because of all that he's done. You had the conflict between the DRC and Rwanda. You had the conflict between India and Pakistan, done, both of those done. You have, of course, the Abraham Accords. The president is working on expanding those, the Abraham Accords, maybe with Syria, trying to normalize relations with Israel. Some people are going insane and saying that Iran or Iran, whatever, may be joining the Abraham Accords as well. I don't see that happening, but we'll have to see what happens. Trump was also asked about sending more weapons to Ukraine. This was a shocking answer to some. Will you, President Trump, be sending more weapons to Ukraine? The answer was short, sweet, and direct.
We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves. They're getting hit very hard now. They're getting hit very hard. We're going to have to send more weapons. Your defensive weapons, primarily, but they're getting hit very, very hard. Very sad. So many people are dying in that mess.
Yeah, so this is going to be a bone of contention, I believe, with Trump supporters. Hey, real quick, let's, KGB, let's go ahead and change the Daily Dan poll a third time. Real quick, let's talk about the end result of the previous poll where basically, Joan, the question was, do you care about the Epstein files? And by and large, most people were like, we got a lot of other things to worry about. Some people said no. Some people said yes, it's very important. What are the final numbers on the Epstein files?
Do you want to guess?
No.
All right. 45% said yes, 23% said no, and 32% said a little, but there are other things to worry about.
All right. Now, here's what I want to know from people. Are you disappointed that Donald Trump is going to send more weapons to Ukraine? Because remember, a big bone of contention with the MAGA faithful, with Joe Biden, has been that we don't want to send any more weapons to Ukraine. We don't want to give them any more money. Blank check is not a policy, right? Remember all of that. Well, now Donald Trump is effectively, could be accused of doing the same thing, but I don't believe that he is. I don't think that he is. And you know why? And I'm not making excuses for Donald Trump, but what I am saying is that for the President Trump, as opposed to Joe Biden, clearly Trump is trying to do everything he can to end this. That's the big difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Biden was, number one, a shell of a president. Number two, he refused to speak to Vladimir Putin, and all he had to do, and all he would do, was write checks and send ammunition and bombs and all that kind of stuff to Ukraine, but never tried to broker a solution. At the very least, Donald Trump is trying to broker a solution between Vladimir Putin and Ukraine and Vladimir Zelensky. They just can't get there. As I said before, these two nations cannot get the hell out of their own way. And Donald Trump clearly, as I said, he name-checked Vladimir Putin a couple of different times in all of this. So, I mean, part of the question, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. All right, so if Putin is not going to end things, if Putin is just going to keep doing what Putin is going to do, then is it time, somebody suggested this, is it time to give Vladimir Putin the Iran treatment? And get really serious about dropping some really serious weaponry on Russia. Now, I don't believe that is the way to go, but at some point, somebody's going to have to do something. Because we're going to fall into the same trap that Joe Biden did, which is we're going to give Ukraine just enough weaponry not to win and not to lose. And on it goes. And Donald Trump keeps saying that what he wants to do is save lives. So I think that there has been some disappointment in what Trump has had to do with this conflict, because remember, the president said that he was going to solve this conflict on day one, within 24 hours. Now, clearly, obviously, I don't think that the president was expecting such pushback from Vladimir Putin, but that is indeed the case now. So now this is going to be a more diplomatic effort, and we'll continue to cover that for you. I think there, again, disappointment regarding not only Vladimir Putin, but also some disappointment with the president sending more arms to Ukraine. So we'll keep you updated on that story and a whole lot more, including one really interesting story about Marco Rubio. And it's coming straight ahead after the traffic on WTN. 8:16 on Nashville's Morning News. As far as your weather today, 92 and scattered thunderstorms. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. By the way, 92 degrees is going to feel like, up towards 100, or as Joan Jones likes to say, hot and sticky.
That's right.
So you know what's going on with Marco Rubio?
He's the funniest guy you know?
No.
Who was it? That was Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yes.
Said he's the funniest guy. Yeah.
Yes. There is an imposter using artificial intelligence to mimic Marco Rubio in efforts to contact leaders, world leaders
Oh,
and
no.
governors. Seriously. Washington Post is now reporting this, that unknown individuals are contacting foreign ministers, U.S. lawmakers using AI-generated voice and text messages. A person impersonating U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio used artificial intelligence to send voice and text messages to senior political figures, the Washington Post reported on Tuesday, just a little bit ago. The imposter contacted at least 5 individuals, including 3 foreign ministers, a United States state governor, and a member of Congress, using the encrypted messaging app Signal and text messages that mimicked Rubio's voice and writing style, the report said, citing a State Department cable and senior U.S. official. That is crazy. I mean, he's the Secretary of State. It's not like he has the ability to send us into nuclear war.
Right.
But still, they say this whole thing began in mid-June. Do you think you could recognize someone? Like if I called you, Joan, if I called you and somebody was using, artificial intelligence to mimic my voice and my speaking pattern, do you think you'd recognize that it wasn't me?
I would hope so. But I have to say, this is used so frequently. It happened to my parents. They got a phone call that said that it was my nephew, Jordan, and that he was in jail and he needed money and he needed them to drop it, very quickly. And he was desperate. He was crying,
boy.
desperate.
Right.
And they obviously are older. Or at the time, they were probably in their 70s, late 70s. And they fell for it. They didn't take any money anywhere because they used another phone to call my brother. But they're so good at it. The technology that's used to mimic somebody's voice is really very good.
What I'm trying to figure out, so if somebody calls and they're trying to pretend that they're somebody else, right? Mm-hmm. So do you speak through like a computer program, and so I speak with my own voice, but it comes out on the other side like Marco Rubio? Or
I think that's the way
are
it
they
works,
all
yeah.
canned responses, and you just hit a button for the response?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know
Yeah.
how it works.
I don't know either, but
I would love to figure that out.
These people don't know Marco Rubio like my parents know their grandson, So anybody could probably say it's Marco Rubio and get away with it because they don't know him.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. Although, if you know Marco Rubio, you know his speaking pattern. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know that? I think we've spoken about this before. Did you know that someone's speaking pattern and their voice is, I believe somebody said, it may have been me, that it is as unique as your fingerprint? Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but if you're a customer of, at least I know Verizon does it, you can use your voice to access your accounts and stuff like that. There's a voice identifying feature.
Right.
So, yeah, I would think it probably is.
Do you know who had the greatest voice ever?
James Earl Jones.
Okay. Do you know who had the second greatest voice ever?
Morgan Freeman.
Do you know who had the third greatest voice? Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, yes.
Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
The way that he spoke was just, he had that flair about him that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think about, do you know what did I mention this the other day? So I had to drive to Kentucky, and I, for whatever reason, got a wild hair, and I just pulled up an old random Rush Limbaugh show on YouTube or wherever it was from 2022, 23, somewhere. And I just listened to it. Yeah. Just because I miss his voice so much.
I do too.
Yeah. And man, he was just so good. He and of course, Uncle Phil. And I miss their voices. But the flair that he had in his voice, the way that he enunciated was so incredibly unique. And I think everybody has that kind of little uniqueness about their voice, and it may be so small, so sort of like incrementally barely noticeable, but it is there.
Yeah.
And that's why I do find this very interesting, because I've always been tuned into people's voices because I work in radio and I've always been fascinated by that. So anyway, I got to find out how that works. Like if
I'm sure it's available online. Like you can probably understand it by finding something online.
You know what?
You're going to do that right now.
Let's crowdsource this, like Chris Hand always says. Does anybody, Sean? Okay, now people are talking about great voices, right? Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Paul Harvey.
Paul Harvey, yes.
3581 says, easy, Dan, you're getting high pitch. That's one of my uniqueness in my voice, is its ability to go high pitchedness at a moment's notice. Chris Hand can tell you how it works, I'm sure, says Mike H. Probably, actually. So 9270, because I want, does anybody know how this works?
Hold on. Jason says, don't kid yourself, Dan. Joan isn't accepting your call outside of work hours.
Whatever. So it says, 9270 says you can either speak to talk, it translates for you, or you can type it and the AI speaks it.
Oh.
Who was it? Chris Hand. He did a thing with me going on that Disney cruise. Remember that whole thing?
Oh, yes.
When he did Donald Trump and he talked about me going on a Disney. I didn't go on a Disney cruise. But it's kind of funny how I keep having to throw in the I did not go on a Disney cruise disclaimer every time that comes up.
You can keep
Very
saying it doesn't make
defensive.
it true.
So defensive.
I didn't go on a Disney cruise.
You're acting like a Democrat. Just deny.
Oh, look at the time. 8:24, Nashville's Morning News.
Another Democrat game.
David David Attenborough has the best voice. Christopher Walken had a great voice. Sam
Elliott, yeah.
Yeah, but Sam Elliott's problem is he's like way too much of a liberal.
Yes,
so
agreed.
everything he says, as beautiful as it sounds, makes him sound like
What's
a
the
dummy.
guy's name that did the movie trailers in the 90s? Like In a World guy? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, who was the In a World guy? Oh,
yeah.
He had
In
top
a
10
World.
vote, yeah.
Yeah, that's a quick Google search. I'll find that.
Text line, do your thing.
Yeah, who was the In a World guy?
Don LaFontaine?
No.
He just did the trailers in the 90s for everything.
The In a World guy. Who was the In a World guy? Who was the In a World guy?
Don LaFontaine.
Is it Don LaFontaine? Okay. Do you know what he used to do? This was way before home studios and all that. He would take a limousine from one voice actor studio to the next. He would just take a limousine from place to place to place
I love
to place.
it. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. He was, all right, I got to go. It's 8:25 on Nashville's Morning News.
My dad had a great voice, too. Just saying.
Yeah. My
Except when he yelled at me.
I bet, do you know that my dad's been dead for 25 years? I can still hear his voice in my head.
Yeah.
I can still hear it. So, all right, Joan, what's coming up?
Okay, so more thunderstorms possible today. Yesterday, they actually caused flights to be grounded. Also, we'll tell you why Watertown residents say they were blindsided by the mayor. That and more coming up here at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
8:26, and listen, if you're a business owner and you've got concrete floors and they don't look very good, you know that is a reflection on your business. My friends at Specialty Coatings, they can help you with your floors. Now, here's the deal. They've been doing this for a long time. They specialize in concrete floor coatings and polished concrete. So, in other words, look, if you're at your work right now, your business, take a look at your floors. And if they look like crap, then that's going to be a reflection on your business. They've been helping businesses for 30 years look better. Now, you've probably walked on some of their incredible concrete floor coating. We're talking about their work in all the major sports stadiums, the arenas, the convention centers, not only in Nashville, but across the state of Tennessee. Just last year, Specialty Coatings in Nashville installed over 1 million square feet of coatings for businesses across the state. Now, those buildings include manufacturing, warehouses, airplane hangars, retail, and so much more. Now, Specialty Coatings isn't some fly-by-night company. A couple of guys show up with a bucket and a roller. No. At Specialty Coatings, they've got the equipment and the skilled installers. So your job is going to be on time and on budget. No matter how bad your floor looks, Specialty Coatings can fix it. And each project is customized to your building, your business, and your needs. Call them. As always, important you tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-591-9491. 615-591-9491. Email them, sales@specialtycoat.com. The website, specialtycoat.com. 8:37, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan's here.
Yes, she
JB's
is.
here. And Chris is here. I'm here. We're all here.
We made it.
Looks like we made it.
Gosh.
What's going on? Are we going to do
Oh, was
singing?
that a bit? Singing Barry Manilow?
Did you kill that song?
Well, listen.
If it makes you feel better, I'd never heard the song before.
You never heard of Looks Like We Made It?
Barry Manilow?
No.
Wow.
He's too young, folks.
Yeah, I know.
I'm younger than him, and I know the song, but I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know it was Barry Manilow.
I have a hard time respecting somebody who's never seen the Brady Bunch in its original run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
I'm
do.
just kidding. I was
Yeah,
like
I'm,
6.
I'm on Chris's side on that one.
All right, so
I watched the Grand Canyon episode.
did you when they rode the donkeys into the Grand
yeah.
Canyon, and then Mike got off the donkey and was walking kind of funny?
We did that last spring. Are you sure it was from the donkey? We did that last spring. We watched the Grand Canyon episode.
Yes.
As a precursor to our Grand Canyon trip.
If you don't know what Chris is referencing, just look up.
Don't be careful what you Google at work.
Just look up.
You should see the Google search on this computer.
Just look up Robert Reed
Yeah.
and his escapades in Pasadena. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Moving right along.
You might get something really weird
Chris.
if you search that, too.
Thanks to you yesterday, I had to look up Obama's sperm picture on this computer. So
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, there was that. All right. So all guys have to then ask the same question. Jan or Marcia?
Oh. I don't know. I feel awkward because they were both minors.
Topanga from Boy Meets World.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Okay, I don't understand what that means, but okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Only
I have a hard time respecting people that don't understand the finer points of Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World is one of the GOAT shows.
It is.
It's amazing.
All right, Joan, have you seen this alleged great show?
Alleged. How dare you?
You mean Brady Bunch?
No,
No.
Boy Meets World.
Oh,
Boy Meets World.
Yeah, my kids loved it.
Yeah.
Far
Whatever.
better. Far better than the Brady Bunch.
All right, listen, the Brady Bunch, it all made sense when I was like 8. But since then, no.
It got a little
Not-
weird.
See, Boy Meets World had the love interest thing.
Yeah.
The cute, young child love interest thing.
And Eric is the funniest character of any show, maybe ever.
Okay, so Valerie's calling BS. She says, I don't believe Chris has never heard Barry Manilow.
No,
You've never actually heard Barry Manilow? You never have?
No, I've heard Barry Manilow, but I haven't heard that song in question.
You've okay.
What?
Well,
I love the law terms. Song in question.
and Suzanne says, Dan, I love that song, but I'm 75.
So are you, Dan?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Was that too soon?
too harsh.
Too harsh?
It's too close, man.
Couple of years away. Come on.
Couple of years away. All right, Chris, you said that you, by the way, did you know, we're talking about voices. I didn't know this. Did you know that Rush Limbaugh worked really hard to get rid of his Midwestern dialect, I guess?
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I did that to get rid of my Boston accent. I read
You got to still work, man, because you
Say
got
Harbor.
it there.
every now and again it comes out, but for like a year and a half, I read street signs out loud on my way to work.
Did you to this job?
No, not to this job.
Oh, okay.
To in Boston when I worked for Kiss 108.
Because you still you've got a weird, and I'm not telling you anything you don't already
yeah,
know,
I know,
but you've
I
got
know.
like a Canadian Boston thing going
Yeah,
on.
he says out.
Yeah,
Dude,
I have a
what
couple
about
things that I
Haba? These-
couldn't. There's a couple things I couldn't get rid of, but be thankful I'm not on here going, guys, this is wicked pissa. You don't understand, dude. Guy, let me tell you.
Going to the Haba?
Say hi to your mother for me, all right?
Oh my lord.
Guy.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what? If you did that, you probably wouldn't be here.
So to get rid of the accent, did you have to stop going to Dunkin' Donuts?
No, I did not.
Do you find yourself speaking in that accent like when you're around family or people who you knew back then?
It slips out a little bit around family.
Yeah.
But more like the the angry Northerner personality traits come out than the accent.
When my mom's angry, her
When you're
Brooklyn
driving.
accent comes out.
But back when I used to drink, it would be like, third beer in, and it would be like,
Yeah.
oh, here's Boston Chris.
Boston
I-
Chris.
I mean, my ex was from Boston.
Oh,
and
yeah?
so when she get mad at me, oh boy, man, she'd be parking the car like all over the place.
Parking
It's
the
like Ricky,
car.
Ricky Ricardo. I keep dating myself with these references. I love
Seriously,
Lucy. Do you know
dude.
who
Anything-
Ricky Ricardo is?
Yes,
Chris.
yep,
Thank
yep.
you for the assist.
I don't.
My
So-
11-year-old loves I Love Lucy. It's like one of her favorite shows.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're raising her right.
We do what we can.
So whenever Ricky Ricardo gets mad, he just starts going into Cuban.
Yeah.
He's Cuban, right?
Yes.
Cuban.
Cuban. Okay, whatever.
Cuban.
So you had something for this, didn't you, Chris? You said
Well-
you DM'd it to me.
I did. I DM'd you a clip. So there's a lot of reviews coming out. Are you excited about the new Superman movie?
There's a
I
new
was.
Superman
No.
movie. coming out?
I was excited for
There
it.
is. It's coming out on Friday.
Do you say you DM'd it to me in Twitter?
Yeah. I DM'd you a clip in Twitter.
Wait, no. Are you
I-
going to ruin the movie for
I
me?
slid into the DMs.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Wait,
Right,
is
I'm
this?
right.
Is this gonna-
Reviews are starting to come out, and they're calling it woke,
Oh no.
terrible,
trash.
terrible, superficial, and overstuffed. And then I found this clip of overstuffed.
I've never heard of overstuffed, but
I was going to see this movie.
what does overstuffed mean?
Google escapades in Pasadena. So, so anyway,
Yes.
these reviews are starting to come out, and
Yes.
they're calling it woke. And then I found this clip from the director, and I'm wondering, like, are they sending these guys to like marketing school on how to trash your film before it hits theaters?
Yeah.
All right,
They
so
must.
this is Sean Gunn.
Is it Sean Gunn or is it James Gunn? It's James Gunn.
Probably James
And James Gunn is the director, and he's talking about how great this movie is because Superman's an immigrant.
It is exactly what the movie is about, I think, that like we support our people, We love our immigrants. Yes,
Okay.
Superman is an immigrant. And yes, the people that we support in this country are immigrants. And if you don't like that, then you're not American. People
Wow.
who it is exact.
So I guess we're not American. By the way, so Superman is an immigrant. Where's he from?
Krypton.
Krypton.
He's a gosh darn alien.
He's here illegally.
He's an illegal alien, literally. The exact definition.
And if
He's also effeminate.
I recall correctly, there was that one Batman episode where it was all about Superman taking his job.
There was that. I forgot. What did you just say? The Superman was effeminate?
It's effeminate.
Says who?
In the current movie that's coming
In
out?
the new movie.
They made him effeminate.
It kind of looks good, though.
Little
I might still
fancy.
see it.
A little fancy pants, is he?
A little fancy.
Okay.
Also, Crypto, they made Crypto kind of a weak dog.
What do you mean?
They should have made Crypto. Crypto is supposed to be like
Kryptonite.
like a white yellow lab.
But it's a
Oh,
white.
Crypto's a dog.
Yeah.
It's a,
Oh,
but
got it.
it's a white dog in the comics and everything.
Yeah, but they made him like a terrier.
Yeah, it should have been a
fan.
bigger dog.
Yeah.
But they could just make him
German
white. but
Shepherd. Rrr.
There you go.
A white German Shepherd. That probably would have been perfect.
That would have flowed.
So
That's what it looks like. And there's a cartoon about Crypto too. It looked just like it.
So what are the reviews saying? Just that it's overstuffed?
Overstuffed,
Among other things.
woke. Popular website, The Daily Beast, for instance, released a damning new piece entitled "The Terrible New Superman Movie is the Final Nail in the Grave for the Superhero Genre," before pulling it down after it went live. They're trashing
Really?
this movie.
And is it because it's woke? Like if they made Superman effeminate, okay, well that's dumb, but whatever. And do you know why it's dumb? It's dumb because the original Superman wasn't effeminate. So
Right.
they're trying to, Clark Kent, the original Clark Kent, was very unassuming,
Right.
but he wasn't,
Yes.
fancy pants.
Right. He was kind of a nerd.
He was a nerd. That's what I loved about the original Clark Kent, Christopher Reeves, is he was a nerd. He was really smart, and Lois Lane, and she was hot, and that whole thing.
You wanna-
Wait. You liked he liked him because Lois Lane. That's one of
Well,
your
no,
Because
definitions.
Superman got the girl.
All right,
Yeah.
hold on. Okay, here's the big question: is there a a Lois Lane in the new Superman.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Is she?
She's pretty.
She's very pretty.
Okay, so she's like a normal. She's not like a.
She's not a supermodel or anything.
Yeah,
But like
good.
she's naturally gorgeous, like not artificial, not superficial or
Well,
anything.
okay, you talk about how woke this is, so then it wouldn't surprise me if like, Lois Lane was actually named Louie.
So the Daily Mail says Superman's hero is no brooding Snyderian Christ figure. Rather, he's a sweet and sincere do-gooder who uses the word dude, takes time out of fighting behemoths to save squirrels from harm, and believes that viewing everyone as beautiful is punk rock.
What?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Punk rock?
Viewing people as beautiful is punk rock?
I don't want my Superman to even be talking about punk rock.
I don't even know
Yeah.
what that means.
Nor do I
Superman
want
is
him to be rescuing squirrels.
Superman's a Boy Scout.
He grew up in Kansas.
Do you want to know what put
He's
the
a
nail?
farm boy.
So I'm reading all these bad reviews, but do you want to know what put the nail in the coffin that this is a movie I shouldn't see?
What's that?
The UK Sunday Times also broke the review embargo. They called the film a triumph. And I said, that's it. I'm out. I'm
a
out.
triumph.
I'm
It's a
out.
superhero movie. For God's sakes.
Send him to Rwanda.
Henry Cavill,
Or
where
whatever
are you?
third country you want.
We need Henry Cavill back.
Enjoy Sudan, you illegal alien.
So the guy that was raised on a farm in Kansas is all of a sudden this like New York like woke politician.
Yeah. Yep. Got it.
Way to go, James Gunn. I liked you for
I was
in
bummed
Guardians.
too. He did a good job on the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And then I was looking forward to this. It's my son's birthday this weekend,
was.
and I was like, man, maybe we sneak out and go see the new Superman movie, but I can't now.
So apparently, the new Jurassic Park is trash too.
Oh.
Well, they should have stopped making those a decade ago.
So Amy was
Yes.
telling me about it because I desperately wanted to go see Jurassic Park.
What number are they on? Like
This
17?
This is going to be the 7th. It's the 7th Jurassic Park. They did
four too
3
many.
and then 3. So this is the 7th. And I think it's the 7th. Joan, you might have to fact check me on this.
Okay.
So, but apparently in this particular Jurassic Park, one of the characters whose name Scarlett Johansson. Apparently Scarlett Johansson, from what Amy tells me, actually somehow turns into a velociraptor.
No, shut up.
Well, the point,
Is that real?
Well, that's what Amy said. That's what she said. That's what Amy said. And so, if so, then how many different ways can you have people look? Oh, wow, it's a brontosaurus. You know what I mean? It's like there's only so many different ways to do the same skit. So, of course, the next logical step is to turn humans into velociraptors.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what they're doing?
That's what Amy said. I hope she was
So
not messing with me
what
on
are
that.
what are your pronouns if you're a velociraptor?
Sir.
Whatever noise they make.
Clip that.
Apparently, this is the number 8 Jurassic
Oh,
Park.
that's
movie.
too many.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop. Okay, after 3, like, again, I don't know. Star Wars ruined it for everybody because once they made 6, everyone was like, oh, we got to make 20. And ruined movies because nothing's original anymore. Everything's a remake or a sequel.
Yep. 100%.
In some places, it says 7. Others say 8. So
I don't think
yeah.
it's 8. I think it's
You think
okay.
it's
You
7?
had 3 super texters help
Are
me.
we counting the Lego series?
No, we're not counting the Lego series.
All right.
There's a-
So you've got the
Jesus, all
3.
right. Tell me how you really feel.
You've got the 3 with the first 3 with.
Hold on, I have all of them here. You ready?
Sure.
Okay, so you've got Jurassic Park in 1993.
The only
Epic.
good one.
The Lost
bless it.
World was
Yeah.
97. Jurassic Park 3 was 2001.
Right.
The
And then-
Revenge.
and then-
Jurassic World 2015.
yeah.
Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous 2020.
It's Cretaceous.
Is that the one where all the kids got eaten?
Oh, that's a TV series.
Oh.
Never mind.
Oh, that's
We're back to 4.
Fallen Kingdom 2018.
Yep.
Short film at Big Rock was 2019. I don't know if you can count that.
That doesn't
though.
count. We're talking about
I'm
cinema.
already exhausted.
Chaos Theory 2024. And that was
Magic the Gathering included in that too.
all right. The
Theory.
Prologue 2021.
For the love of all that is holy.
World Dominion 2022.
Okay, we could just stop.
Everybody loved the prologue.
Rebirth.
There were 6. There were 6. Please take my word for it. There were 6,
Okay.
including today's that's out this week.
That's
That is
5
number
too many.
7. So,
Are you going to watch the Lego series?
No.
The only
On the Disney cruise ship?
this is kind of like Jaws. Remember Jaws had like 6? Like there was like Jaws the Revenge.
This time it's personal.
Yeah.
Remember
They
that
had
one?
a Jaws the Revenge where the Jaws, like son of the original Jaws, went after the family of the guy that killed the original Jaws. That was a real storyline. I'm not making that up.
I was joking with my kids. I was like, have you seen Jaws 4? They're like, there's a Jaws 4? I was like, yeah, baby Jaws. I was like, there's a lot of them and they're hungry. And you're going to get eaten, but it's going to take longer.
And the song is Baby Jaws, Baby
Shark,
Jaws.
Baby Shark, Baby Shark.
Do.
Have you, we used the term fancy pants earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've heard that? You've heard that?
I've heard the term.
Somebody
fancy
actually called me
pants.
one time Dancy Pants.
I like that.
It did.
Okay.
Them's was fighting words, but I laughed wholeheartedly first.
Okay.
So I thought it was funny. If you can't laugh at yourself, then that's all I got.
We go to the
job,
tease with Joan.
If you can't, listen, if I couldn't laugh at myself, then I would be under the console in a fetal position. So because there's just so much to laugh at. All right. What was I going to Google in Pasadena?
Escapades in Pasadena.
Escapades in Pasadena. All right. Joan, what's coming up?
We'll tell you how the flash floods in Texas are changing kids' camps around here. Also, the one thing that you don't have to do anymore at the airport. Those stories coming up at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And Chris Hand.